Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's lovely to have you back. I hope you're doing well. Please like and subscribe if you like my content. I could do with more subscribers, I'm only tiny. Let's get started. Is the Suzuki V-Strom the best looking mid-adventure bike? Well, that's something of a controversial statement, isn't it? There is a lot of good looking bikes in this sector, and it is very difficult to make one that looks good because of the essential frame that you're fighting with. However, Suzuki have done something really interesting and original here, and that's why I wanted to do a design review of it. Their design for this has really succeeded, it's very forward thinking, and it's very much out with what everyone else is doing at the moment. So I wanted to go through the design and make some points on it and point out some very cool features on the design. The main problem with designing an adventure bike is the size of them. They're very tall, so it's difficult to design something that's interesting and exciting. There's simply a lot of shape, volume and size to try and fit into what you would call a sleek package. You can see exactly the same with car manufacturers when they do SUVs. They always struggle to somehow make the shape sleek and appealing but accommodate such a massive car. The biggest issue is the side profile of it, especially because they're so tall. This, by its very nature, makes it hard to make the design look sleek. Often with SUV designs they go a path of just making it overblown, and it just ends up looking really fat, to be honest. And it's the same with a lot of adventure bikes. They often get carried away trying to outdo each other, and they just end up with overblown fat designs. Much like cruisers, manufacturers will always fall into a trap of trying to follow existing trends. They're often too muscular, too overdone and too big. The bikes themselves tend to look uncomfortable in their design as the design fights to try and accommodate a whole lot of tall motorcycle. It takes a lot of skill and bravery to do a design that's original and sleek and interesting with such a large shape to accommodate. Suzuki really deserve credit here for stepping out with the box and doing that, and in this I think they've succeeded. You see, designing a sports bike is a lot easier. They have to be sleek, they have to be lightweight, they have to be slim. So before you even start designing a sports bike, you're already contending with a shape that's as small and sleek and lightweight as possible. On an adventure bike, they're very tall, so immediately you're going to struggle to try and hide or deal with the huge side profile of it. This is where the real design skill comes in. How you can make the most of it and end up making it visually appealing without just looking like the large side of a truck. It's much like a bodybuilder wearing a suit. The suit has to be cut very well in order to work with the size of the body underneath. Sometimes this is successful, but if you see a bodybuilder in a bad suit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Much to their credit, BMW's success led them to defining the sector, and manufacturers end up emulating them versus trying something new. You end up with a lot of GS knockoffs rather than bold new directions in design. It takes a lot of bravery for a company to ignore what's successful and take their own path. In this case, Suzuki, who are normally not risk takers, have stepped way out the boundaries of what's considered typical for an adventure bike and tried something interesting and new. So what are the initial themes and inspiration here? First of all, it's very Japanese. You can see strong origami themes, and this leads to a very clean design with very little extra fat. Normally on an adventure bike they try too hard adding extras. They end up adding a lot of unnecessary elements to try and make it look rugged. They lean heavily on off-road and military vehicles, lots of strong angles and strong shapes, but this can end up making the design look overblown. Suzuki have went right back to the start and chose another route, looking to create something clean and sleek with very simple lines and shapes. It's a very Japanese design ethos. Often in design, really good design, it comes from the less is more approach. Clean design will always look better. Using clean, sharp designs keeps it very futuristic. You can certainly see elements of Japanese robot design versus off-road vehicle. They've avoided curves, vents, fins, bulges, which are all classic themes in adventure bikes, and everything here is more orientated towards a very crisp modern design that looks like folded paper. It does look straight out of an anime set in the future, and is certainly influenced by Japanese sci-fi. The fundamental of good design is to start with a strong theme and then carry it through the whole design. In this bike you can see even the handguards, the front forks, the lights, every element keeps to that clean, folded origami themed approach. This helps it look much more futuristic in its design, much more forward thinking. The screen and the indicators all carry the same design language, giving a complete and purposeful overall look. All too often manufacturers cut corners and buy off-the-shelf parts to save costs, but Suzuki have attended to every detail, which is brilliant work, especially when a bike is considered a budget option. Even the graphics that are put on it are designed to complement the themes. The stripes, the logos all contribute to the overall crisp, clean, futuristic look. This design would work very well with a futuristic power plant, like electric or hydrogen or some sort of weird new futuristic engine. They know they have to use a conventional engine, so all the parts they couldn't build the design language into are painted matte black. The exhaust, the mudguard, the engine, they're all designed to take your attention to the feature parts. The only part of the engine that they've actually made a feature is to bronze the crankcase. And even then it looks like a reactor in some sort of futuristic sci-fi thing. Very well done. This takes it away from the old-fashioned form of motorcycle design where the engine's a feature with fins and cylinders and all the usual elements of an engine, and you're only seeing one part really that looks very futuristic as well and complements the rest of the design. It's also very slim too. A major temptation of manufacturers with adventure bikes is to overdo the width of them. By keeping it slim, it helps keep the bike looking light and capable and futuristic. While I know the market likes those semi-military off-road style looks, it was very brave of Suzuki to reject that and do something much more forward-thinking. Another interesting part is you'll notice the front beak element also angles down. This helps reduce the large gaping front that's so often seen on adventure bikes. It reduces the size of the grille and reduces that massive gaping hole. Because the suspension is so high, on adventure bikes they look even taller at the front, but they've added little elements to the bodywork and the beak to just close in on that and reduce it a lot so it looks a lot sleeker. Now there's something very cool hidden in the design as well. I don't know if you've seen it, but the front part of the design emulates a peregrine falcon with folded wings about to strike. Like I've mentioned before, Predators often feature heavily in bike design as it taps into certain human emotions and feelings. What's really clever as well, if you know the history of the Hayabusa, this is a wonderful cheeky bit of humour in the design too. It's not just enough to make good design, but to incorporate this sort of cheeky playfulness and hidden meanings takes a lot of skill. I wonder how many owners have actually noticed this. I think it's very clever. There is certain other manufacturers as well hide their logo, hide their history in the design. I think that's just awesome. Instead of following the herd too, they've looked deep into their own motocross bikes. You can see the DNA here. It's easy to see the two come from the same family and same design ethos. So rather than sell you on a fake, rugged, tough image, they're actually selling you on a, hey, we have motocross bikes, we can do off-road and there's real capability here. Then just to finally top it off, they've incorporated elements of their own heritage. You can see here it's tapping into some very old Suzuki off-road bikes, and that is to keep the existing Suzuki owners' feelings and memories there. So the design, although futuristic and dynamic, doesn't alienate everyone. It still has classic Suzuki elements within it. So overall the design is sleek, dynamic, clean, original, futuristic. Suzuki are making some really good pieces of design at the moment, and they should be commended for it. More manufacturers should step out the comfort zone and try new things. Is there anything on the bike I don't like? Well, as always, the exhaust is too big. It has to meet those regulations, so it has to be large. It still has a bit of the design language in it, and they've painted it matte black in an effort to hide it. Same with the rear light cluster. There's a bit of the design language in it, but I think it could have been pushed further with some sort of dramatic lighting style. However, it is a budget bike, so it's not going to have the exotic rear light cluster or something like an MV Agusta. It was probably done for cost reasons. It's functional, it's okay, it fits the design, I think it could have been a bit more. However, considering the budget constraints, the market they're aiming for, they've really succeeded in doing something original and affordable. It really does look Japanese, and it has that feeling about it that it could transform into a robot with a laser sword. I think this was maybe to attract a younger market, maybe entice them away from that old man Starbucks image that many adventure bikes have now. By aiming it at younger riders with a strong anime influence, a strong sci-fi influence, you give it a degree of cool that a big fat adventure bike might not have. So the design works really well in terms of balance. It's got the futuristic sleek lines and modernism that would appeal to young people. It's also got just enough Suzuki heritage in there to keep their old customers. It's really great to see Suzuki having a resurgence and doing interesting, exciting designs again. I'm really looking forward to what else they come up with in the coming years. Overall, a brilliant job. Thank you so much for watching. It's been great to have you here. If you can like and subscribe, that would help me a lot. In the description below you'll find links to my children's books if you'd like to help support the channel. Have a lovely day and bye bye!